Joke's on you guys. I am live. Ha ha. Shit. Hold on, I gotta change up all this shit. Do I even look good in here? Yeah, I mean, like, I'm as looking good as I could get. Oh, jeez, Louise. Ugh. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. Okay. So, now that this is a whole thing, we all know this, I'm gonna just quickly get my video link out to people. I'm also going to go to here, which of course is off because I was in the middle of doing stuff. Then we're going to get to this, and we're going to get to our freaking subscriber amount is significantly more. We are actually we got a lot of subscribers recently, which is really, really crazy. So thank you all who have just joined. We're doing the stream a little later in the day today, so I am updating our statistics right now. We went from 17 I streamed just last Thursday, and we have gained a whopping, what is that, 16 subscribers over a week. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Our KO video did really well, so I'm happy about that. Happy that we got to do that. Yeah, so cool. We're set there. And then we can go and pop over here. But take some time, we can hang out real here quick. I need to get this stuff out to people in Discord and such. Where is my... It's right here. Drink. I don't have a ton of time. Most of my streams tend to go for about 2 hours anyway, so that's probably what we're looking at. So I just kind of wanted to get some talk in here because obviously I'm sure I've kind of been radio silent about these things outside of some Twitter posts, but I did want to talk a bit about the MST spoilers, right? The Misfail spoilers were insane. I think it was really cool how they did their spoiler season this time around with the release of the Blitz decks and everything inside of them, and then let everybody else get all the Majestics and Legendaries out of the way. I feel like it helps out a lot in regards to realizing what a character's true potential is supposed to be. So let me see here. Live and talking about the MST spoiler drop. Because I love this set and so should you. All right, we take this whole link here, we copy it, we paste it to everything that we possibly can. Putting it in the content creation stuff here. Boom. We've got that. Now we can go make something on Twitter. All right, Twitter, how's this? All right. That's all set. Sick. Now everybody knows that we're live. We're live and we're still looking at garbage lighting. God, one of these days we'll get it right. Like a cold glass of milk. So yeah, 1765. We're climbing pretty quickly. I know the KO Armory deck video that we did was pretty good. We did make a podcast between Nathan and I about the KO Armory deck. I should probably upload that tonight. It's like a 2-hour-long video, though. Let me see. Let me just make sure that I have this here. I mean, I know I have it, but I need to check. Let's see. There it is. Properties. How long is this video? Okay, it's not going to say. Hold on. Don't say anything.
So what's up, guys?
No, stop. An hour and 13 minutes is how long I made this. That's not bad. So it was an hour and 13 minutes. And I'm going to upload that. It's about the size of a VOD for one of these live streams, but it does go into some points that I'd like to talk about. Of course, also, we have the MST spoilers, right? Part the Misfail has kind of been insane. And I really do want to kind of make sure that that is a big focus for the general idea of what we want to talk about today. Because the MST spoilers have been insane. We've gotten a couple more since the Blitz deck release. I also wanted to actually do this too. I wanted to go here and look at these articles because they have tutorials for each of these Blitz decks, which I think is really, really cool and is really going to help out, you know, kind of giving an idea about what the decks are supposed to do, how you're supposed to do them, and the fact that they released videos, you know, pertaining to these heroes going against one another, I think was really, really, really good. I think you're able to really show a lot, and I feel like it just like it does what it's supposed to do, you know? So we're going to talk about these guys here real quick, kind of go over all of these, and then we are going to kind of dive deeper, I guess, into the article here. So the new Blitz deck is pretty cool. From if you haven't watched those Flesh and Blood, like official Flesh and Blood videos, I definitely suggest doing that. They are a great idea. The devs give a great pilot of what the decks are supposed to do, and also kind of shows us about how these heroes run. So obviously in a Blitz precon, you only really have rares and commons. So these aren't like full power CC things, but being able to know what a Fang Strike and Slither is, these two cards being ephemeral, I think this is really cool. Because that means that cards like this are going to be able to really push the boundaries of what this deck does. I think that Slither is huge. I think that every card that can make a Slither should be put into an Assassin deck. Fang Strike, maybe. The only thing I like about Fang Strike is using Red Venomous Bite to give a Fang Strike as well. So you +3 and then you +1 more, because in most cases people will overblock with 6, but they won't overblock anymore. But news whole thing here. Golly, excuse me. News whole thing here is pretty much using these attack reactions to continue to kind of power through on your opponent. And I think that you're going to see a lot of this here. Another thing that I really do enjoy is that the stealth cards that she uses, right? Because stealth is kind of a big deal for her. Any action that blocks a stealth card does in fact get banished. Yeah, when this chain link resolves, banish all action cards defending this. So any defense reactions or attack reactions don't get banished. Or, I mean, you can't block with an instant, but any of those cards, block cards, don't get banished either. Just action cards. So that's kind of important. And since most of these cards that are coming out in the set have stealth, stealth is going to be a big deal for her. This includes, if you look at any of the stealth cards from Outsiders, like Wither and Infect and Sedate and Isolate, Backstab, Malign, all of those cards have stealth. And so it's very, very important to have that ability there for you. So not only do they have the stealth cards, but they also added on the the second text of most of the contract cards that you'll see in Dynasty. So, for instance, you have things, in Dynasty, they came in for 4 attack and 0 cost, blocked for 3, but their whole thing was when this deals damage, you banish the top card of their deck, and then you have a contract to essentially complete, right? Your contract ability is whatever this banishes, you get to get a silver. And now instead what they've done is they've kind of mixed the two with these new Desire stealth cards, in which what they do is they have 1 less attack, but when they hit, they banish the top card of their deck. So now it's a stealth card with the banish effect of a contract card. And then on top of it, it also has a contract of itself. It's just not strictly the contract keyword that says whenever this banishes X card, depending on whatever one you have, you'll gain life, which I think is really, really crazy because this is the closest I think we're going to get to life gain cards. Obviously, you have to complete that, that requirement in order for you to gain life. But I think it's super cool that they exist and that you're able to kind of really just swing in some extra damage. But again, this is still just for 3. 3 is very, very, very easily blocked. But if every card in your deck has a very terrifying on-hit, this is pretty good. Again, you could also very well play more of a fatigue, or I guess more like a mill strategy, where you can mix in cards like this with cards with contract. Obviously, you're still going to be playing things like Leave No Witnesses and Surgical Extraction. So those, plus any of the attack reactions that are coming in here, I think are going to be pretty powerful. And then, of course, her Transcend ability, as noted in the video for the Blitz stuff, News Transcend ability, you're able to use that as long as you have Chi, right? You can pitch said Chi at instant speed as many times as you want to look at the top card of your opposing hero's deck, and if it is blue, you may banish it, and then until the end of the turn, you can play any blue cards in their banish zone without paying the cost. So the good and bad side of this effect, right? This here, attacks with stealth get whenever this chain link resolves banish, super good, because that means that if your opponent blocks, if your opponent's trying to, for instance, fill their graveyard with cards that they may want to use for things like Codex of Frailty or some other recursion ability, when you block with this, or when you attack with this, a stealth card, they instead get banished, which means they're no longer targets for that. The only downside to this that I personally can see is that while you can play blue cards with her instant, you have to be able to actually be able to play them. So, for instance, Ninja is going to be a really great target for this because you're going to be able to just use all their Go Again cards that are blue in their banish zone, and it's probably not going to equate for a ton of damage, but some of them might have really great on-hits. Some of them might just, again, it might just be cool. I come in, if you come in late game and you're able to pitch Chi to this, that means that now you're going to be able to come in, pitch, and then use the rest of their banish zone and just go again, go again, go again, go again, go again, go again. Eventually, they're going to run out of cards to block with, and you get to win in that situation. So I'm wondering if in CC there's going to be a card that's going to say give, all blue cards have go again for this turn or something, like some majestic card, because that's going to be something that New's going to want to run. But New's ability, pretty powerful. Again, with her Transcend stuff, is very, very cool. She pretty much, I don't know, she runs a lot of attack reactions, but I think a lot of people kind of want to play her defensively. Simply because if you can just play defensively, kind of like you would a Zuri, right? You swing dagger, swing attack. Your opponent's going to have to block these things at some point effectively. And if you have attack reactions that allow you to get over those, then they have to use D-reacts properly. If they don't have D-reacts, then you get to banish cards from the top of their deck and then kind of set up. You mill their deck, and then you're able to use their deck against them. Again, some of the cards that you're going to be able to find in blue are probably not super great, depending on the hero. For instance, most warriors don't use, attack actions. So you don't really get to do much. Most of their blue cards will have your next weapon attack or your next sword attack or something deal extra damage. That's probably the closest thing you're going to have to power, but it doesn't really do a whole lot for you. The only thing it does is it strips more and more cards from their deck so they can't use them. And then the other class that I'm a little worried about when I'm playing new is playing against a ranger, specifically Azalea, but like really any ranger, because if I banish a blue, if I banish a blue arrow, I still have to, if I'm going to use my opponent's cards, I still have to get that arrow into my arsenal and then fire said arrow. And there's no way for me to do that. So you don't really have targets there. Their pumps in their deck are also normally reds, and they're normally only for ranger attacks. So, you can't use a ranger attack, then you're kind of donezo, right? But theoretically, and that's the other thing, is that some of the ranger attacks, if they are blue for some reason, they're playing a blue pump. They play a blue pump. Let's say it's got reload, right? Well, these cards aren't in your hand. They're still in your opponent's banish zone, which means that you can't reload an arrow in there to be able to shoot it. That's just not how that works. So, and then of course you've got some other things here. Of course, this is the Blitz deck, so a lot of the stuff is still very underpowered for Classic Constructed, but you do get to see a lot of this in in Commoner and in Clash. So, Koi Blessed Kimono, Aqua Seeing Shell, the Beckoning Mistblade was in fact not a lie. That was a actually leaked card, and it is very good. The only downside is it doesn't have piercing. It's kind of like the whole reason I chose to switch to Assassin is because piercing is like huge into the Valiant Dynamo plays. But I think this is also something that even if you just go in, you swing with your first Beckoning Mistblade and they block it with the Valiant Dynamo, you swing with another one, you're going to be running a lot of blues. And then how to win with new. So I'm very curious on like the how to win with new is, right? New wins by slowly chipping away at the opponent's life and deck, then finishing them off with their own cards. Be patient and use stealth cards to banish your opponent's blues while keeping your life total high. Once there is a big pile in the banish zone and you have transcended, start thinking about how you can combine your daggers, reactions, and opponent's banished cards to create a massive turn. Activating New's hero ability too early when there aren't many banished blue cards isn't very strong. If you transcend early, it is often better to pitch the inner chi for a reaction or dagger and plan to activate New the next time you draw it. Sometimes you won't banish enough blues to make a turn strong enough to kill the opponent, but you can still win a game by going over the top with reactions to deal lethal damage. Use your arsenal wisely. Keeping a Feigned Strike or Slither in arsenal can make defending incredibly hard for the opponent when they know they have the ability to add +1 or go again at any time. The deck also contains a key backup plan with Deep Blue Sea. When possible, try to pitch this card to keep it in your deck when both players are running out of cards. Pitching 3 blues for your dagger, and then Deep Blue Sea and a Rousing Wave can threaten up to 13 damage. That's a lot. An easy way to remember the different cards in your deck is by card types. Regular Assassin's cards are most attacked. Okay, now we don't know about that. So this is a very interesting way. Essentially, it is kind of like I said, you're going to want to just kind of poke, do some little bit here and there. And then finally, when you get towards the end game, you can just transcend and do some crazy stuff. That's how this deck is going to run. I don't know how a fully tricked out Classic Constructed deck is going to run, but I think this is probably the closest you're going to see. These cards are all going to also have their uses in Clash because they're rares and commons. So kind of like how the Blitz deck works, it's almost going to be the exact way how the Clash deck works outside of, not being able to upgrade with legendaries and so on and so forth. So I think these cards are really, really powerful. I like that there's stealth and banish on the same card, because that's the reason I liked playing Arachne and Contract, is because it came in for a breakpoint and it banished a card from the top of their deck. Whereas then they came out with stealth cards in Outsiders, and I think there was only the one card that had stealth that had a banish effect, and it was Infiltrate. And now it's on like every one of your cards. So very, very good. I like it a lot. And then obviously being able to get over with a bunch of attack reactions. I feel like you're going to play this. So in most cases, what you would do with like a warrior is you'd pitch to swing your weapons, and then you'd attack react over your weapons, right? Give your weapons a plus whatever. But here, you're going to be able to come in with a stealth card and then pump that stealth card by a lot to then give it a banish effect as well as other things. I mean, like this card at rare is also really, really good. Double Trouble. 0, 3 for 3, or 0 for 3 with 3 block. And if you played or activated 2 or more attack reactions on this card, strictly on this chain link, it gets +2, and when this hits a hero, banish the top 2 cards of your deck. This plus a Venomous Bite plus a Fang Strike, right? Or even plus a Hiss and a Slither. So let's Hiss and Slither is probably the better one. You start with this, you play Hiss, then you play Slither. And then this will then come in for, you'll have two float, +3 on a red Hiss. So now this is coming in for 6, and then you play Slither on top of it. Now it's coming in for 8, go again, on hit, banish the top 2 cards of your deck. Whatever you have next coming in your chain is going to be very powerful. So this card is almost a guaranteed include. I'm certainly putting this card in Arachne Solitary Confinement because it's really, really good. So I think Nu's going to be very, very good. She's very crafty. I'm still not sure whether or not they're going to try to make like a fatigue plan out of her or something. I guess it depends on what legendaries and majestic she gets. What we don't know any kind of specialization or anything of the sort yet either. So we'll see whether or not that ends up happening. But let's go ahead and move on over to Enigma. So let's check out Enigma. Enigma is a Mystic Illusionist, and her style is kind of almost akin to what Aura Prism was, where it's just play a bunch of Spectral Shields, but this time she cares about things with Ward. So everything that has Ward on it, she wants to be able to play and then gets to utilize as an attack with Cosmo Scroll of Ancestral Tapestry. So during your turn, auras you control with Ward are weapons with base attack equal to their Ward, and once per turn, pay 1 to attack. And then any auras you have with +1 counters on them get go again. So this is kind of your way to make sure that you're able to swing in with those and get that damage. Luckily, this doesn't really count towards any of the Spectra stuff, because the Spectra cards have 0 attack. They are only auras you control with Ward are weapons with base equal to their Ward. So you can't swing with them unless you give a +1 counter on to another aura. But even still, you get a +1 counter onto an aura, you still can't attack with it because you can only attack with Ward auras. So while other things are going to be very prominent, like Shimmers of Silver and Haze Bending and things like that, those are going to be more support tactic things as opposed to like actually how you attack with things. And then they have, again, just like it said, auras with +1 counters on them have go again. Waxing Spectre is super good. It literally just comes in with a +1 counter on it. It's got Ward 3 for the red. So this is already a 4 for, you got to pitch. You're probably pitching a blue for this, obviously. It's also an instant. A lot of these Ward cards, these Ward auras, are instants. So you can utilize them both offensively and defensively. So if your opponent's going to come in with a crazy big power turn where they have a bunch of really nasty on hits, you can just play Ward and make sure that that's not able to happen. But outside of that, her Chi ability allows her to make Spectral Shields with +1 counters on them, and then she can attack with a Spectral Shield for free pretty much once per turn. So that's very good. You're getting at least 1 to maybe 4 damage, depending on how many counters are on it, to just kind of keep swinging. So it's either keep all these Ward pieces alive or let some of them die and then kind of go from there. Of course, yeah, there's the Chi stuff. She also gets to make Spectral Shields, which is really good. So if you let's say you have a cleared board, you can go ahead and draw into an inner chi. And then if you pitch the inner chi, you're then able to make a spectral shield. And then you're able to attack with that spectral shield for 2, go again. And then if you have a red in hand, you can pay for another aura, ward aura that you control to attack with. So very, very good. And then, of course, a lot of the armor that she gets is, they use this cloaked ability now, which is really cool. You equip this face down. Ward 4 on this one here, which is kind of wild. So Ward 4 on this illusionist chess piece. And if you have exactly 1 life, you may turn this face up. This is going to be a little bit more important probably for the Blitz Young formats, but I don't see it seeing so much play in the actual Classic Constructed format, but I think for this, you're going to see it. Then how to win with Enigma. Same kind of concept. Like I had said, you build up a massive army of auras, and you just find a way to swing. What I've seen from the videos, this card here is a must include, because this is a way for you to get a you pay 2, right? So pitch a blue, play Spectral Manifestations, and then you get a Spectral Shield with Ward 1 with 3+1 counters on it. So that means that this is now a 0 for 4 go again, which is on rate for things that we like. And then you'll even have 1 floating to attack with another aura if you can get it out, or by some other means. So that is important to note. Solitary Companion's also really cool because it's kind of like those cards in Magic where you have you play a creature and then that creature also makes another smaller version of itself. So Solitary Companion says if there are no other illusionist auras, you create a Spectral Shield token. So you get to create a Ward 1 token and then another Ward 1 token. It only protects 2 damage off of you, but it's not so great. But you are able to go ahead and keep this up and then utilize its ability to swing into things, right? So I like that a lot. I think it's very, very good. I'm not sure how this is going to work out super well because there are a lot of heroes that just say, I don't care about your ward. Obviously, a lot of it could be brought down to this, right? Spectral Manifestations, this is kind of like, oh, you cleared my board? That's crazy. I'm going to go ahead and just play Spectral Manifestations and come in for 0 for 4, and then pitch to come in for something else. But the problem that I foresee is that I think while Enigma has a lot of power and is able to really get the board out, I don't know that you're going to be able to present a absolute ton of ward in 1 turn and then be able to block efficiently on your next turn when you have something like a Dominated Arrow coming out, or you have something like a unpreventable damage effect. For instance, Tiger Stripe Shuko is really, really good. A really good example in Blitz and Classic Constructed, where your second low power attack gets unpreventable damage. It's a +1 and unpreventable damage. And that doesn't mean that you can't block it. That means that you have to block it. But if they play an attack reaction to get it over, that means that it pops all of your ward. That's how ward works. The same goes with Vincent. Vincent has her hero power that quite literally says, pay a life when you play a shadow non-attack action, and your next rune chant is unpreventable. You can't use Arcane Barrier. You can't try to block it out because it's obviously arcane damage. That's probably going to be the biggest threat for Enigma, because that will just be able to clear out her board no matter what, and then be able to come in for very, very strong attacks. So that's going to be very interesting. Curious to see how that works, but I think that her aesthetic is really cool. I think her cards are really powerful. I think from a young hero standpoint, especially in things like maybe Commoner is going to be very, very interesting for her. I'm curious what things are there, because this card is a common, and it's a great way to kind of get back into it. So most of these are commons, actually. So most of her kit's commons, but we'll see what happens, right? It is a late day for me, Nathaniel. It is a late day. I decided I was getting some stuff done earlier today, And I woke up late because I was at a concert last night, so I was like tired. Then I had to call a bunch of my family members who all proceeded to tell me that on different times throughout the summer, different family members are looking to come out and visit me. So now I had to plan all that stuff. And then I sat down and I was like, it's like 1 o'clock. I'm gonna like play some video games for a little bit. I played until like 3, and then I went, I think I technically have time to do a 2-hour stream, like an hour and a half, 2-hour stream. So that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna go ahead and end my stream right in about like an hour. But I wanted to kind of talk about the new cards and how I felt about them. So you have bonus if it's the only aura game +1 attack. Yeah, those are good. Those are good. The what is that? Single-minded. Where are you? Did I pass it? Are they illusionist only? No, they're up here. No, they're not. They are illusionist only. Hold on. These ones? Single-minded determination. This is good. Maybe. Yeah, there's other ones there too. I think this is nice. Like the red is really, really good because you can pitch a blue, get this one here, and then it's got 3+1+1. It's got 3+1 counters on it. So now this is for 5 damage. And then you can use that one floating resource to attack for 5, go again. And then you can swing with whatever wards you have. As much as I like the, having blue cards in my deck, I don't think this is worth it. Because this is ward 2+1. So you're effectively pitching 2 and then 1 resource for 3 go again. Which, 1 for 3, I guess it's not the end of the world, especially for a deck like this, but I feel like you can use this to build the board up and then try to go out. So yeah, you build up, let them die, and then build up. I like the ability to kind of like I was saying, Spectral Manifestations I think is an insanely good card, because it quite literally is just like cool. Like this I like a lot more than this, because this makes me something that has +3 counters and I can attack for 4 for nothing because of Enigma's ability. This I have to pay 1 resource to attack for 5 go again, which I guess is technically on rate, but if I want to utilize my resources to build my board, I just, again, as much as I would love to play this in our next Clash Bash, this is asking for you and your Vincent to just get rocked. I don't think there's a single way that I don't think there's a single way that happens. So single-minded gives you +1 ward as well. Yeah, it's +1 onto the ward. Yeah, so it allows you to block a little bit more. But I think Vincent is just like, I think Rune Blades are just gonna eat this shit up. They're gonna eat it up. There's just no way. I mean, you've got all that stuff. Yeah, Ranger has Murkmire Grapnel. Hell, Assassins have Malign. And so I just think there's too many cards that deal unpreventable damage for her to be like, yeah, like I'm going to be comfortable with all my ward stuff. Like, if you're able to leak 1 unpreventable damage through, you're donezo. It's just not happening. So, but I like it. Like I said, I think I like these a lot because it gives you, like, this gives you ward 3 and then also a 1. And so you can just give like a +1 counter with, where's that other card that is like an auto include in this deck? These guys, Astral Etchings, so good. So good. +3 on an aura with ward. And then if I control a Spectral Shield, I can play it at instant speed. That's pretty good. Because then I can be like, cool, I'm going to swing in with the Spectral Shield, and they're going to go, oh, okay, cool. So he's just going to swing at me for 1. I'll take it. It's like, okay, Astral Etching, actually, so now it's 4 go again. So it is quite powerful. I like this card a lot. There's a lot of things. Like, given the +1 counters and everything, I think it's really, really powerful, but I'm not sure. Zen, on the other hand, though, I think out of all three of these heroes, Zen is probably the one that like benefits a little bit the most. I don't know if it's still enough for him to be incredibly powerful in Clash, though. And the reason I say that is because in his rare and common slot, he has a lot of ways to make Crouching Tigers, but not a lot of ways to give like these tigers damage, I guess. So like even watching some of the blitz decks where crouching, the blitz deck videos that Flesh and Blood, the official YouTube page, came out with, watching Carol come in for 0 on a crouching tiger was like not efficient and not very great. And so that felt a little bad. I'm sure there are ways to obviously get around it, because at that point you're going to want, you always have a pump with your weapon, right? You always have a pump with your weapon, but your weapon costs 2, and then you have to make a Crouching Tiger. So you got to find a way to make Crouching Tiger, which is fairly simple, and then you got to find a way to give it +1 or any sort of damage. And then you want to theoretically do a combo card into another Crouching Tiger, or into like something like another like Untamed or whatever. Play Untamed, and then play another Crouching Tiger, and then attack with a big card. So he has legs. I feel like less of giving tigers damage and more of allowing combos to go off. Right. I think that's, I mean, like if you're using the tiger to get the combo to go off, that's good. But I feel like you're still not presenting enough, because when you come in and you attack for 0, you don't threaten anything from your opponent. They don't need to give you armor. They don't need to give you a card. They don't need to do anything. So like when it comes down to the late game and it's like, cool, my opponent comes in with a Crouching Tiger. Okay. Like now you've just turned on your Key Unleashed. But like I don't think that's enough, And especially since it's so predictable, right? If my opponent comes in with a Crouching Tiger for 0, I'm going to go, okay, they're going to come in with something even bigger in their next thing, and now I don't have to present any kind of resources to block out this tiger. Whereas, like, I would probably play a lot of the stuff that makes his tigers really, really powerful, at least every turn. Right, that's what I'm saying, though. Like, second tiger in the turn, it's an understandable thing, again, to get, like, the Key Unleashed thing. But I think like if this is why I think like Zen and Classic Constructed is going to have a lot more legs, because you have Roar of the Tiger, which is +1 to all of your Crouching Tigers for the turn. So slam all that stuff down, and then you're able to at least threaten a good amount, and then Tiger Swipe, and then threaten a good amount, and go from there. But I feel like, but you're right though. The fact that Tiger Taming Kakara is a ninja weapon, this is not strictly for Mystic ninjas. So Tiger Taming Kakara is actually super, super good. And shoot, I'd almost make like a Tiger Benji with this deck. Just be able to pitch, come in with 2, get a Crouching Tiger to come in with the no block, and then more Crouching Tiger stuff. That's very powerful. Yeah. Biting Breeze also isn't terrible. When this hits, create a Crouching Tiger. So like I said, I mean, there's a lot of ways. Create a Crouching Tiger, create a Crouching Tiger. The next Crouching Tiger you play this combination gets +1. And then you have the Mystic ones that are really, really powerful. The you have Wind Chakra to give your Crouching Tigers a plus amount of things. I think Wind Chakra is going to be a pretty important card. Companion of the Claw, I think, is not on rate. I don't really like it. Like, it's a breakpoint, but it's a breakpoint for 2. I feel like it's a little expensive. The only thing it does is get you a Crouching Tiger. Harmony of the Hunt is good, though. This is just Companion of the Claw, but 1 less. So, you pay 1, come in for 3, and then you create a Crouching Tiger. So that's good. Tiger Form Incantation, I think, is busted as hell. The fact this is in common is really, really good. Because if you just play this, you pitch a blue card, you get a Crouching Tiger in your hand, and your next Crouching Tiger gets +3. So for 1 resource and 2 cards, technically, you get another card, right, back to your hand, and it's a +3 that you can play for 0. So, and it's a go again. So I think it kind of makes up for itself, right, for the resource cost. Tiger Form Incantation, I think, is really, really good. You're probably going to see this in most commoner decks if they're running Tigers. Yeah, I love that. And then Wind Chakra is also like not terrible either, because think about it, right? If you transcended this turn instead, it gets +5. What? Yeah. Well, actually, I don't know if you saw, Nathan. This is very important because I'm happy that for a beginner thing that Carol decided to make a side note specifically for his actions, because what he did is he played Tiger Form Incantation first and then attacked with Staff. And the reason that is because this says your next Crouching Tiger you play this turn gets +3. But the Staff says the next Crouching Tiger you play this combat chain gets +1. So if you swing with Kikara and then you play Tiger Form, that breaks the chain. So now you don't get the +1 on your Tiger. So you have to Incantation and then Staff and then Tiger for 4. So, and this is, a 2 for 2. I didn't expect it to. I wish this was 3. I wish it was like at least Emberblade level something, right? A 2 for 3, I feel like that's like a pretty solid rate. I don't like that it's 2, but it's technically 3 because you're giving +1 to your Crouching Tiger. So I don't know. Not my favorite thing, but I like, the Pouncing Key is obviously like an insanely good card in here. Not 3 because it's not conditional go again. But it was conditional. Yeah, I mean it was conditional go again, but I feel like 1 for 3 is not, like, if you consider it like an action card, I feel like it's not, like, usually you're paying 0 for 3 or 1 for 3, but here you're playing 2 for 3. So, but I don't know. I think it's just me complaining. I would have rathered it been something that would needed to have been blocked by cards by hand, as opposed to by a card from like equipment, right? Because equipment blocks that out pretty well. I think you know what? Actually, I lied. I think I know why, and I'm happy about it. It's because this isn't a when this hits for Crouching Tigers. It's when it attacks. So they lowered its rate for it because it gives the +1 to the Tiger no matter what, as opposed to it being an on hit. I imagine if it was an on hit, it would be 3. But because it isn't, it's a 2. I get it. Yeah, you just have to make the Tiger, which, is going to be pretty easy. So, yeah, I think kind of the concept here. Yeah, how to win with Zen. Let's read this here for a little bit. Zen wins by pressuring the opponent into defending big combo attacks while whittling away their life with smaller Crouching Tigers and Staff hits. Once your opponent is at low life and is forced to start defending your smaller attacks, use Zen's hero ability to play a big combo attack and finish them off. Don't be fooled into always taking damage to play every card in your hand. Sometimes you'll be missing something like a blue to pitch or play, or a way to create Crouching Tigers. In these situations, you should defend carefully to keep your life total high, and put a powerful card in your arsenal until you have the right resources to play it at full strength. It's important to keep track of what combo cards you have left in your deck. Ki Unleashed is one of the strongest combo attacks in Zen's deck. If you have run out of combo attacks, the deck contains a few ways to put them back into your deck. That's with things like Preserve Tradition, and there's another card in the deck that I can't remember off the top of my head that does that. An easy way to remember different cards in your deck is by how they create Crouching Tigers. Regular ninja cards mostly create a Crouching Tiger in your Banish Zone when they hit, while Mystic ninja cards mostly create a Crouching Tiger in your hand when they attack, as long as you pitched a blue. That's good. Yeah, no, I like it a lot. I'm happy that they were able to like really give him something, because I just like that it's for all ninjas, you know what I mean? Like, all ninjas get to use this, so it opens it up for a lot of other heroes. I don't imagine you're going to see, like, I don't know, I guess you might see Katsu, because Mystic Ninja cards get it into your hand, while regular ninja cards get it into your Banish Zone. So might not be preferable, because the way I see Zen being insane is the fact that he could make, if we're talking Classic Constructed or Blitz, he can make Crouching Tigers in his hand and then play Art of War, banishing a Crouching Tiger, and then drawing 2 cards. And that's value. That's just strict, utter value. The same goes with the fact that he can make them in his hand. So if my opponent goes and pummels, I can go ahead and have a card in my hand to discard that is not the cards I need. Obviously, I need to play cards on my hand in order to do that, but there are cards that obviously make you a Crouching Tiger in your hand. So, like his foot piece or whatever the hell. Is it in here? No, it's gonna be up here. But it's Mystic, so what? Where the hell are these things? There they are. Stride of Reprisal. When this defends, create a Crouching Tiger in your hand. So, like, Blade Break 1, avoid a pummel. So, yeah, you can also do Arsenal with Tiger. So at least you'll have a Tiger for when that happens. So, and then you can come in with, like, you know, red Wind Chakra, blue Wind Chakra, Transcend, Tiger for 8, go again. So I think red and blue Wind Chakras are really, really good. You're obviously not going to be transcending as much. So I don't know. Like, +3 on a Tiger is good. Probably not going to run the blues. Although the blues are great, because if you do transcend, they get +3. So, but even adding +1 onto there is good. So, see, Eyes of the Tiger, maybe. I'm curious what the Mystics and the Legendaries, I'm really curious, or the Majestics and the Legendaries, I'm really curious to see what the specializations look like. Because that's also something they have yet to release, is the specializations. Because, you know, they got to keep that under wraps, I guess. So, but looking over all the cards, I think a lot of the stuff is really, really powerful. I think Hiss is an auto-include in new. I think it's just good, especially Red Hiss. Just pitch a blue, swing with, pitch a blue to pay for this on a 3-cost attack. Now it gets +3, and then you get a Slither to give it a go again. So now it's 6 go again with 2 resources floating, because you get the Slither on there too. With those specs, I would imagine they're probably going to have specs, because, like, these aren't, and I feel like that's kind of bad. But I'd imagine they have specs. They count class and you don't need specs. Well, you would need specs if we're ever going to go back to Mysteria. You know what I mean? If we're ever going to go back to Mysteria, then you're probably not going to see New Zen and Enigma again. Maybe you will, but it took us 5 years to get to Mysteria. So if it's in 5 years, you're trying to play new. Or are you trying to play Enigma or something? Because, I don't see a reason why they wouldn't print specializations. Oh, I hear a boy. Here he comes. Here he comes, the little man. Oh, he's here. He's here. He's here. Come to hang out. You can come up here? Okay, there you go. There you go. We have officially acquired a little man. Little man is here. Bubba, would you like anything? Would you like to say anything? All right, there you go, buddy. Good job. Good job. You say hi to everyone. Yeah, I don't know. I think the set's really, really cool. Yeah, right. It does sound like he said no. He only ever said no. Except he does. He loves saying hi to everybody. He loves saying hi to everybody. Don't you, bubbers? I gotta feed you in a little bit. It's almost food time. What the hell was I saying though? I think the cards are really powerful. I think it's just it's really funny that even in Clash, I think it's really funny that, and I don't know how many people feel like I feel like I triggered Dylan from TCG Talk when I made my post how I think that Ranger is really, really poised well into all three of these heroes, especially Azalea, and because he made a post and he's just like, people are telling me that Azalea is cracked as hell into all these heroes, but I would play Assassin into a Ranger any day of the week. And I'm like, yeah, not like that. I think that Azalea is really poised into all three. Now, obviously, KO and Prism and Victor and all of them are going to probably be more prominent in the meta, and Dory are going to be more prominent in the meta. But I could imagine that somebody out there is going to break Zen. It wouldn't take Zen too much to kind of mess up the meta and just throw himself in there. I doubt. I would imagine. So I think Zen is probably, just because we don't know the legendaries, we don't know where the Majestics are for these things, but from what I can tell, some of the Majestics are really, really good. I like this though. These Sacred Arts are really powerful. Being able to, full HP and lots of ward, but again, I don't know. I feel like with the new Vincent card, along with people who've been dying to get back into Runeblade, I feel like Vincent's also going to kind of be a popular hero, and it's going to be you're gonna play Enigma, and you're gonna do a whole bunch of testing to Enigma, and then you're gonna go play against the Vincent, and it's gonna be like, oh, yikes. But I think this Sacred Art's really, really good. If you played another blue card this turn, choose 3. This is really, really good. Because then this is also another Transcend card. You get 2 Spectral Shield tokens and a +1 counter on each aura you control with Ward. And then you just get to swing with all those. Yeah, no, absolutely. It'd be like a Dark Horse thing, though. I don't think there will be no representation of Vincent at Callings and Battle Hardens. But I do think that she's not going to be, she does die to a lot of this other stuff. I mean, shit. I think even New's a pretty hard counter into Vincent. Zen obviously does way more. Although Zen doesn't block for shit, so that's interesting. But I don't know. I think this was a really, really good reveal. This is one of the Majestics for the set for new. This is really good. Pay 2, get a Slither, and then banish all defending attack action cards on the combat chain. If a Chi was pitched to play this, you may play the banished cards this combat chain without paying their mana cost. So I think this is good. You're essentially able to play red cards with this, mind you, which is kind of insane. This is going to be like an auto include in new, in Classic Constructed and Blitz. Because if you're able to come in with, dagger, stealth, attack, react, then you get to, you stealth, hiss for, so it'll be what? Let's just assume you've got an attack action, both that cost 0. You have a hiss and a Gorgon's Gaze. Oh no, that's too much. You need 2 blues. I mean, theoretically, you could just not swing with daggers, right? So, or you can swing with a dagger. So, yeah. Because you're trying to, get a whole bunch out. But you imagine if they're blocking, they're probably blocking those things, so. But Gorgon Gaze is good. You get to just throw it away, and then you get to play their banished cards. I think the reason I also like New a lot is because while New is probably also really, while she can't use a lot of the cards in Ranger with her ability, or with Gorgon's Gaze at all, what she can do is make sure that they banish all of the targets for their Codex of Frailty. Because if they are like, yeah, I want to get this card into the graveyard, they have to be able to play it to get into the graveyard, as opposed to blocking with it. So you get all that into the grave, super, super good. So I like that she puts stuff in the banish zone. It's not super great for somebody like Runeblades or Levia, right? I mean, Levia, it's actually almost, it's okay, but it is the fact that she doesn't get if she blocks with anything, it doesn't go into the grave, which means that she can't play her cards that need to banish 3, right? So it is a pretty significant counter to Levia. I think I'm definitely going to try my best to play New. I think I have nearly everything I need outside of what comes in Mysteria. God, I'm just hoping there's not a legendary that's absolutely freaking insane. But I'd like to get these hisses are so good. So good. Such a good card. And then of course the stuff for Enigma is crazy powerful too. And I like, so her Sacred Art, now that we know what everything is, right? Create a Fang Strike and Slither in your hand. Banish up to 2 cards in opposing hero's graveyard and then transcend. So this is kind of like a game-ending thing here, because you want to be able to +1 onto your stuff and also Slither onto a blue card from your opponent's banish zone. And all you need to do is play a blue card. So I'm just curious if these heroes really want a lot of blues in their deck, or if they are just still planning on having some reds. You're probably still planning on playing Leave No Witnesses and Codex of Frailties, but are you playing Death Touch still? Probably not, because you can't switch it out with you can't switch it out with Zuri ability, But Venomous Bite's okay too, but again, it's a 1 for 4 technically. I think that the hell is that card? It's an assassin action. I think Double Trouble's pretty cracked. The fact that you can play this for 0, hit it with a hiss or a venomous fight, and then utilize that ephemeral reaction on top of it as well. Like if you use the venomous bite on it, you get +3 and then +1 and then +2. So this is +6. So now Double Trouble will come in for 9. 9, and then on hit, banish the top 2 cards of your deck. That's pretty good. And if you have a Slither, somehow you can give a go again. So that's pretty nasty. For one, not mind you, for one resource. This is a 1 for 9 or a 1 for 8 go again with Hiss. And I think the 1 for 8 go again with Hiss is probably the best, because then you can follow it up with something else. But this card's good. This is good. 1 card 8 go again, or 1 card 9. You're probably going to go with 1 card 8, because the go again presents even more damage. You know what I mean? And then again, I think I like what they did with these cards. I like that they combined, in a way, they combined Contract and Stealth together. So now this is just like the way Assassin cards are. So now Stealth, instead of it making silver, instead gains you life, which I feel like is way more important. The only downside is that, are you going to be, like, with these cards in your deck, are you going to be playing things like Black Tech Whispers and Mask of Perdition and you're not playing, maybe you're playing Redback Shroud, but I don't think so. This is a Redback Shroud. I think it is. Redback Shroud. Yeah, destroy Redback Shroud. The next attack reaction you play this turn costs 1 less to play. And it just, like, you can buy this back for silver. Like, at that point, you're not for 1 resource. At that point, you're better off just playing Tunic. Is he turned into a mill deck, I think? Yeah, ASC would be pretty good. I could imagine playing, I mean, quite literally, you can just play something like, you can play a Desires of Flesh for stealth into a contract card for 4. That's presenting 7 damage on its own. And then the opportunity to mill 2 cards. So you can make it silver and life in that. And ASC has low health. It starts at 19, I think. So that'd be very powerful for him. I think that's probably what I'd like to do is, I'm going to make a new deck, but I also really think that ASC kind of probably benefits a little bit more in young formats from these stealth cards. Just because, banish stuff, gain life. It's good. These are also very interesting because they, like, when this banishes a card, if this has banished another card with the same name, gain a life. I feel like this opportunity is a lot more difficult. And this opportunity is not difficult, but this opportunity is difficult, and then bonds of attrition of attraction are also very difficult. Because banish a card from their graveyard and then also a card from the top of their deck. And then when it banished the card, if it had banished another card with the same color, you gain 1. So technically you can banish 2 cards, right? But this is more preferable for new because you can do that. What's really messed up, though, is that Phi is now unplayable. Because this is ridiculous. Three cards in the graveyard once. Oh yeah, well, because if they block the stealth card, right? Yeah. Because I like this. The fact this is a 1 for 5, kind of crazy. It's a good little chain ender. And then what you can do is you can just, like, for decks that utilize things like Codex of Frailty, just play Gravekeeping. 1 for 5. Yeah, and when it attacks, it's not an on-hit. So just swing. Oh, yeah, you're running Phoenix Flame? Get rid of it. Vanished. Like, what? Like, that's so insane. This is so insane. The fact that this card here literally shuts down an entire hero's, like, game plan. The only thing they have is the fact that they just have, like, pretty good burst damage, but now they lose an entire chain. Like, they lose or they use a whole link in their chain. So it's pretty crazy. This also isn't terrible. I don't like it. It's 1 for 3, but this is another great way to get Tigers to go off, right? So I like it there. I still don't think Battlefront Bastion is a good card, but I guess it does prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to you. So it's great for, like, blocking daggers if you're playing against new or playing against any assassin, because you could block with this for 2 and then prevent the next 1. So if they were going to come in with another dagger, you can just prevent it without having to use a card. So that's not bad. But I do think this card is crazy as hell. I think this is just, like, even if you just played the frickin' yellow. Yeah. Obviously, like, if they let it hit, they also will banish both of these that allow you to banish a card from the graveyard. Bonds of Attraction, and Bonds of Memory. These both will allow you to banish a card from the graveyard, but you have to hit with them at least. So you can block breakpoints. Yeah, I mean, like, theoretically, having that additional +1 is good. And I mean, it's a popper. So, like, if you are going to put a popper in your deck, it's not terrible. But I guess it just depends. It does help block out that additional point if you're just going to block for 3. But that's the other thing, is that Enigma also runs a lot of cards that don't have blocks. Like, there's just a lot of stuff that doesn't block. I think all their instant auras don't block. Haze Shelter doesn't block. Moon Chakra technically blocks. I mean, they all technically block, but, like, these are all cards that you'd have to play out to block with, as opposed to blocking with them from hand. So at least, like, I like Waning Vengeance a lot. I think this is really powerful because you quite literally can just go, cool, pitch a blue, play Waning Vengeance. Now I have a Spectral Shield. Like, I feel like that's just a lot of value. And then this, you're only going to want to play on your turn. Obviously, if you have to play it on your opponent's turn, you have to, but this is a good card. But I think, like, multiple Waning Vengeances is also really good. I'd almost run Rainbow, at least the reds and the blues. But I'd probably run Rainbow because they're good. Hey, Shelter is also not bad. Ward 4, Ward 3, Ward 2. Because you're probably pitching a blue to get these guys, right? But I don't know. It's another one of those things where, like, I'm happy to get it out there if it needs to block something, but I also don't want to like, I don't know. I think I've just played enough of her to feel comfortable. But Haze Shelter's good. I mean, Ward 4, that's really good. Ooh, excuse me, goodness. So Ward 4 and instant speed. These cards are actually very interesting too. I like where the hell is the, well, it should be this one then, right? No, it's right here. It's a mystic action. It's a mystic action attack. So the first tentative Chi Moon is very interesting because it allows your next blue attack this turn to get when this attacks, draw a card. So you'd have to play this and then probably transcend and then attack with a blue attack, draw a card, have that blue attack it go again somehow, and then do some stuff. Like, this is good. This is pretty good in I would say this is pretty good in Zen. I'm not sure how great it is in most other things. So, or do they count? Do blue auras count? I guess, like, if you attack, so if you attack with a haze shelter, like, it will count as a blue attack. Right, right, but if I recalled, they don't count as colors when they're like on the, like when they're auras. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I gotta check. Read this. I don't know. I feel like I guess I just don't know an example of that. Because, like, that would be really, really good. Absolutely. You know, your next blue attack this turn gets when this attacks, draw a card. But, like, your weapons don't count towards attacks, right? And tokens won't count towards attacks. But I guess if it is a blue aura, it would count if that counts as a blue card that is attacking. But I guess they would have made it strictly attack action if it was not going to be ward. So that's pretty good. But the first center Chi and then this guy here also kind of crazy. Like, you like literally just like transcend, and then this comes in for 7. Like, pitch it for regular resources. This comes in for 7. That's a nice like attack option there. But I don't know. I like these. I think they're very... I think the way they play is very straightforward. I do feel like new is going to, like... New, you just really have to make sure that you're not transcending super early. If you're... Depending on who you're going against, right? Because if you're going against, like... if you're going against, like, a Guardian, right? Transcending is, like... You can do it however many times you want, right? Because you get to... Transcending is also... Like, you don't want to transcend early, obviously, but when you transcend, it doesn't mean that you don't get to use those cards and they just go away. It means that you can keep them in there for a longer chain next time. So, for, like, Guardian, you know, most of their stuff doesn't have go again, but if you have the opportunity to play Tear Asunder into Macho Grande, like, you've got it. You know what I mean? But... So on KO from LL. So yeah. I mean, like, having all that ward is certainly good, but I also think the ward helps a lot more with, just like kind of blocking out damage and keeping you alive, whereas, or blocking out on hits, I should say. It's more about blocking out on hits. And because KO doesn't really have on hits, you have to be able to prevent. I mean, KO can consistently prevent, or consistently, like, attack with somewhere between like 12 to like 18 damage a turn almost. Like, if they really have a good turn. And I feel like you're not going to have enough ward to block all that. Like, it'll keep you in the game, sure, but by the time it's your turn, you're going to have no cards. Because you're going to be pitching to playing all these ward cards. And then your opponent's going to do all that. So The only thing I think Enigma is super good for is CNC. I think the fact that she is like a direct counter to things like CNC is pretty crazy. Because she just play Ward 4. All right, I have Ward 6 on the board right now. Clear my board. I come back and I attack you with auras. Because we still don't know. There's still the rumor that Enigma will have a demi hero, right? So if Enigma does have a demi hero, that very well could change exactly how this works. Because like, if she switches into demi hero and gets, you know, 3 spectral shields with 3 +1/+1 counters on them when you transform into this hero, like crazy. See any of these heroes busting out hard like Heavy did, which is, oh no, absolutely. I think again the thing with KO is that he is so incredibly consistent that even new players can win pro quests and all that other stuff. I don't think there was a battle hardened or a calling that they won with KO. I could be wrong, but I want a druid using the demi hero mechanic regularly. Yeah, like demi hero into like bear form or into raven form or into turtle form or something like that. Being able to just like switch in between forms. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I'd be hyped to see something like that. Although that would make probably 3 cards you'd have to keep in your. Maybe it'd be 2 cards that you'd have to keep in your inventory. Because I'm assuming you don't want to do more than like maybe 4 forms. Like an attack type, a tank type, a heal type, and something else. Yeah. I hope it's good if they make it. I hope they really know what they're doing there. I'd imagine the next time we see Druid will probably be when we go back to Aria. Because you can just do Earth shit. Just be Earth stuff. But I definitely like these. I'm still not sure. I tried making a couple decks to see how I feel about it. And I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think I have nearly everything. I also think that people are hyping up freaking Phantom Tidemaw a lot. Phantom Tidemaw seems to be going up a bit. Phantom Tidemaw, but I still don't. I don't think this is going to be a card that's going to be crazy good. Like it's $24 now. It was not that. It was like $1.55 2 months ago, and now it's at $24. That's a lot. Yeah, that would be cool. Like, what if it's just like, well, because that's the other thing too. They could also make it like 3 druids. Like, imagine making 3 druids, like they did with Bright Lights, where one of them is in bear form, the other one's in turtle form, and one of them's in tiger form. And each one of them utilizes a different element based on whether or not they're in their form, or like they have like bear form cards that can only be used with the hero that can go into bear form. And then you can get like a card that allows you to switch into somebody else's form. I don't know. I'm not a developer. Yeah, this and then Shimmers of Silver is also getting pretty popular right now. $24.50 for a moderately played first ed normal version. That's wild. This number is going to go down pretty heavy. But it is good. It is good because you do have, they are weapons, right? Yeah, our weapons with base biz. Yeah, Shimmer Silver is just good. So anytime you play anything, you attack with it. I think this is just gonna Shimmer Silver is gonna be the card that really makes Enigma shine. Because you're at least getting 2 attacks off now. But and it's got Spectro which everybody can complain about. But I think Phantom Tide mod just is not going to be, I don't know. Again, I think Phantom Tide mods, it's got to really be on the board for a while. Like, whenever an illusionist card you control is destroyed, put a +1 counter on this. And I don't believe, like, your ward cards being destroyed count towards that, and they put a counter on Phantom Tide Mob. But that means you'd have to protect this thing like nobody's business. And it has Phantasm, which means that you have to find a way to not give it Phantasm if your opponent is going to block. Because obviously, if you're dealing with KOs and Dories with frickin' Dories with Nourishing Emptiness and Guardians and all that stuff, like you're gonna get rocked. Exactly. Yeah, you have to keep your ward up too. So you have to, like, it can get as many +1 counters on it as possible, but you know, if you lose to ward, like, that's what I mean. Like, you have to protect this card. You can't just like let your board clear. You have to protect it. And that way, like, at least if the plan is you can play Phantom Tide Mob, block out with everything in your hand, block out with some auras, and then still keep this card on the board. If you have 1 card in hand and it's like a red, you can swing with Phantom Tide Mob for like what? You know, an estimated 4 on its first go around, and then maybe 8 on its next. So if you're able to get the auras out. Because if instead of blocking with cards from your hand, you instead just block with the ward, that brings up Phantom Tide Maw's efficiency. Because depending on how much damage they can present, you'd be able to do that. But you also have to strictly pace out what ward cards are going to be used for what. Because you don't want to use like a ward 4 card for 1 attack. You want to use like a Spectre Shield, right? So I don't know. It's very interesting. I'm still not sure who I want to build. I want to build all of them, right? But now I'm like, oh, well, if I have to buy Shimmers of Silver and Phantom Tide Maw to play Enigma, I don't know if I really want to do that. I have nearly everything else, but I don't have that. What else? New, I have most of the stuff for. I'd say I think I have everything outside of the stuff that comes in MST. And then Zen, I have everything for. I have Mask of Momentums, I have Tiger Stripe Shukos, I have all these other things for CC. But I don't know. We're gonna have to see. That's always the thing too, right? Initially, I see an illusionist, and I'm just like, I don't know whether or not that illusionist is going to be as good as we think it is. And then in like 2 games, or like two sets, she's like the most overpowered one in the format. So, casting a game, you've overwhelmed our normal casters. I'd be down to do that. I don't know when I might have the time. I could probably do it tomorrow, now that I think about it, but I also don't know. And then Saturday, I'm usually spending time with my girlfriend, but I could probably do that too. I don't have like a very big window, I guess. I mean, three days off is a pretty big window, but like my buddy right now is about to come over, and I'm going to play some Flesh and Blood with him, and then something else, but you can send it over to me, and if I get it back to you quicker than anybody else does, I'll do it. Are they just no longer Is it just no longer in the cards for them to do it, or are they just like, yeah, we've had enough casting, we're good? Because it's also probably really hard with MST coming out. Like I still have to get. I'm gonna have that entire pre-release week booked to play that, and then I'm gonna use the next weekend to see how many places around here have a Playday event. So I want to get Playday events going too. Yeah. Yep. It sounds like it's just busy. I mean, I already talk about the games, most of the games of my own on my channel. Um, so I can give you the file for. Well, I guess you can't post the exact same video, huh? So I guess I could redub over my watching of our game and then talk a little bit about that and leave it for the Clash Hub. And then also um do that too. So someone in mind with their calendar is busy. Fair enough. Oh yeah, no, absolutely, right. I mean, I figured it'd be for another game too. So yeah, I mean, if you want to shoot it to me, I already do it myself. So I think I'd be very excited to see kind of where it goes. Um, because I didn't get to see any of the other games, so I'm down to do it. I mean, I like talking enough as it is, so see if you can grab another person. I don't know if I'll be able to grab another person. It'd probably just be me. Not that I don't like working with other people, but like, I guess I just like don't know how. I don't know how to like make that happen. Like we together can maybe do that. Yeah, like if the both of us want to do it, maybe. But normally it's. I feel like the. I feel like I really gotta like know an individual's personality before being able to do something like that because I don't want to just get into it and be like, "Hey, you don't know who I am, but we're gonna sit here and we're just gonna chit chat about this game for 30 minutes and then we'll we'll forget like we spoke to each other." I wanna be able to make friends through it all, and so game isn't super long. Where I can make time. Yeah, absolutely. I think I can do next Thursday. So I have I still have to edit down. It's probably what I'm gonna do tonight. I have to edit down my videos against Teppa, and then I'm gonna edit down my videos with Row for the finals. But I'm not gonna, you know, obviously we can release the finals if you want. The both of us can cast. Well, I know you said you had somebody who you wanted to do for the finals, so but you have the file now that I think about it because we did it on Talishar. So forgot. I forgot these. So but yeah, I'm down. If you wanted to work with me on it, we can certainly do it. Just got to give me a time, and we can chit chat over it and get that done. So excited for that. Also, didn't they release a new? They released a new card for Bolton, didn't they? I thought I saw it earlier today. Some headpiece, right? What the hell is this thing? Yeah, the reveal channel. Helm of Halo's Grace. When this defends, you may charge your hero's soul. If a yellow card was charged this way, draw a card. So it's exactly like the boots, except instead of getting a quicken token, you draw a card. I guess that's value. I guess that's value. I hope whatever happens with these doesn't happen with. Or I hope whatever happened with the KO decks doesn't happen with this. Although I am seeing a lot of places that are still having a ton of KO decks available and still at $40. So I think there's even one near me that has like 10 of them in, and they're about $40. I probably should go pick one up because it's like right down the road from my house. So I have to do that. Yeah, I checked it out. The Helm of Halo's Grace. I saw it. It's just like the legs, except it lets you draw a card instead of the Quicken token. So I think Lemonade Bolton is going to be probably the way that most people are going to end up building him now, just because Lemonade Bolton just seems to do like the things. You know, light heroes care about yellow cards. So how it is. Get stuff into their soul. But regardless, I mean, you can skip out on the token and you still get to charge, which means that on your turn you could charge 2 cards and come in for a powerful attack. I'd be curious what they don't include in here, because that would probably be the 2 pieces of new equipment. I'm assuming they're not going to print Centauri Sabers in here. It's probably going to be Raiden. And then what other main deck cards are they going to print in here? So I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah, the not printing in here is certainly going to be important, because if they don't print things like Lumina Ascension or V of the Vanguard or what's the other one? Shoot. Whoops. Tau, Light, Glass, Warrior. Beacon of Victory, this one. So Beacon of Victory is going to definitely need to be in there. And then Lumina Ascension for sure. And then via the Vanguard. But maybe not, right? Yeah, attacks you control in this combination get +1 for each light card charge this way. This isn't terrible. But I don't know if that's going to be enough. Valiant Thrust is not bad if you charge this turn. Fuck else. Charge this turn. If you charge this turn, when this hits, if a yellow card was charged. So dropping Lumina in a non-saber build. I mean, I still think Lumina is a pretty good card. Till the end of turn, weapons you control get +1, and if this hits, reveal the top card of your deck if it's a light card, put it into your hero soul, and gain 1 power. Otherwise, at the bottom of your deck. If you charge this turn, you may attack an additional time with each weapon you control. So even if you just do this once, you can Raiden into Raiden. Because what is... Yeah. Because you will charge, right? Like, this is just... You know, play something that, you know, play a Take Flight, charge, attack with Lumina, or play Lumina, give Raiden +1, and then have Raiden swing for 4, and then for 4. Or, yeah. Yeah, 4 and then for 4. It's really good. It's really good. And then if it hits, right, 4 on hit, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a light card, put it in your soul, gain a life. So it's charge. I guess it's technically not charging. You get a card in soul, you gain a life, you get to attack with it again. Because you're going to be dropping a card from soul to give Raiden go again. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And then if you play, 3 of them, right? Play a take flight, banish a blue, and then play Lumina Ascension into Lumina Ascension. Have, what do you need? 3 cards in soul at that point. So you've charged. Well, no, that's not enough. Is it enough? Not enough. You need something with a 0 for 3 go again. Is there a 0 for 3 go again card in this? No, you don't need Spirit. Spirit's not. I don't think Spirit's like a crazy thing. I think that the concept here is Light the Way. Yeah, okay. So you play Light the Way for 0, charge a yellow card, and then play Lumina. So okay, so let's just assume. Light the Way in Arsenal. Gallantry Gold. No, that's gonna cost a resource. Yeah, no, let's forget Gallantry Gold. So Light the Way, charge a yellow card in hand, and now you have 3 cards in hand, 2 of them being Lumina Ascension. Oh, that's right. If it hits. I forgot this is a non-hit. I don't care about that card anymore. I think it has to be Light the Way then. Because how do we leave with a card in our hand? We have to charge. What am I doing? What am I talking about? No, that's right. Take flight in Arsenal, 2 Lumina Ascensions, a blue, and a card to charge in hand. I'm right. So you take flight, pitch a blue, charge whatever 3rd card you have in your hand, and then Lumina, 3 cards in soul. So you have a take flight, swing, and then you get to Raiden, give it, get rid of a card in soul to give it go again. If it hits, draw a card, put a card in soul, Raiden, and then Raiden. Do that 3 times. Like, I think that's pretty good. 4, 8, 12, 16 damage. No, it'd be more. It'd be 19 damage. Because they'd come in for 5 instead of 4. So, take flight, go again. I guess theoretically, right, as long as I can buff it, I can also give it go again with another card in my arsenal, or in my soul, right? Like, if I played, no, never mind. Right here. But I guess you'd have to charge first. Oh, that's right. It gets +1 if they buff with an attack action. That's correct. That's correct. But doesn't have to have more power. I don't know how to play Bolton. If you charge this turn, your attacks get +1 while defended by an attack action card. So it also gets another +1 if they block with an attack action, which is wild. And then you could banish a card from Soul to have cards with greater power than their base get go again. So, God, Christ, that could be more. That means Raiden could come in for like 6 if I do double Lumina. That's pretty good. They have to include at least Lumina. Lumina's good. V, maybe not like so much. Additional cost to play via the Vanguard, you may charge your Hero's Soul any number of times. So it's 5 o'clock. I have to... might have to get offline here pretty soon. You may charge your Hero's Soul any number of times. Attacks you control in the combat chain get +1 for each light card charge this way. This might not be terrible either, but you have to get a lot. You have to get a lot off of that. And then his other one, Beacon of Victory, right? That's not a specialization, but as an additional cost to play Beacon of Victory, banish X cards from your Hero's Soul. X can't be 0. Target attack ends +X. You charge this turn, search your deck for an action card that costs X or less, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle. So this gets you Lumina Ascension. Okay. You do V because it powers your non-Lumina turns. If you have Spirit of Arena, you play the V and flash in Lumina. Got it. Got it. Number of times attacks you control is combat +1 for each light card charge this way. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they're going to add Spirit in here though. But I think I think if they add cards like Light the Way, Express Lightning, Engulfing Light, Bolt of Courage, what does this card do? Additional cost to play this, you may charge your Hero's Soul. If a yellow card was charged this way, whenever an attack action card hits this combat chain, you may put an attack action card from your graveyard on top of your deck. What? That's kind of fucking nuts. No go again on here, but obviously you charge, and so if they block with an attack action, you can give it go again by doing all that. Damn, that's kind of crazy. And like I'm assuming you're gonna have some bannerets in there too, right? Like this one, charge to your Hero's Soul. The next time you hit this turn, gain a resource. This one has you gain a life. The next action card you defend with this turn gets +1. So this is probably going to be in there for like the more defensive style of things too. So it'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting. I'm very, very excited to see because I don't know how to play Bolton. So I think it'd be a great entry point for me to have it. I have most of Bolton's stuff outside of like a Soulbound Resolve, and like Spirit of Irina, but I'd like to learn a little bit more about them because I feel like that'd be a pretty fun hero to play. But anywho, I'm gonna get offline because I think my buddy's gonna be over here in just a little bit. We're gonna play some games, get some food, and then I think we will chat some more about card stuff. But I should have some new videos out for you guys tonight, if not tomorrow. And then kind of go about doing that. But yeah, Nathan, let me know next Thursday, whatever time works for you. You know when I'm up, so just let me know. I'll let you know if anything changes, and we can go from there. So thank you guys so much for watching. It means a lot. Appreciate it. Sorry today's stream was a little late, but happy to have everybody come out and hang out, and hopefully we can do this again sometime next Thursday as well. So thank you all so much for watching. Appreciate your support, and I will see you all very soon. Nerd out.